Welcome to another episode of How Real Estate Changed My Life. As you know, I go and reach out and try and find as many people as I can to talk about real estate and how it changed their life in one way or another. Not just investing, maybe it's working in the industry, maybe it's being an insurance agent, maybe it's being a manager, what have you. I just want everybody to realize there's so many different things and facets of real estate investing. So today I've got my own company, McCaw Property Management, and we had a very successful summer with two interns that we hired. Both of them came from A&M, Jace and Brennan, and I'm going to have them on today, and they're going to talk about what their experience was interning at a property management company and kind of what they expected it to be and what it ended up becoming, what they left with as far as experience. So with that, I want to let them kind of talk. And first, let's let both of y'all introduce yourselves, and then let's get into it. So Brennan.
Okay. I'm Jace Myers. I'm a finance major at A&M, and I grew up in like the Dallas area. So it was cool going back to Fort Worth and interning there.
And Brennan.
So I'm Brennan. I am a senior at A&M, same as Jace. I'm from the Dallas area as well. And I came in kind of wanting to get an idea of what it was like property managing because, I want to own rental properties myself in the future. So that's kind of what drew me to this internship over the summer.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start. So how did y'all find McCaw Property Management?
Oh, Jace found it the same way, but we went to the Aggie 100 career fair.
Yeah.
And y'all were the first booth.
Yeah.
The main career fair at A&M is like it's so big and daunting
It is.
and there's just like these big companies. You're just talking to people that are in the HR department, and they really just want you to fill out an application and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking for like a smaller career fair with maybe like actual business owners or people that were making more decisions than just like hiring and firing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just got an email that said like the Aggie 100, and I'm like, okay, I'll go. It's just I had never heard of it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, and it was a lot smaller than the main career fair, but I talked to so many more people and learned so much more stuff. And y'all offered like to have dinner with us later that night. I was like, this is crazy. Like usually the other companies just tell me to apply online.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it's different because you know that the big career fair is like in the big Reed Arena auditorium or something where it's I don't even know hundreds of different companies, and it's all big name companies, great companies. But like you said, it's just you're a hiring manager that you're talking to, and they take your resume and they put it in a pile. And I don't know what the real benefit of that. I mean, I'm sure they hire a lot of people, but with the Aggie 100 career fair, just so people understand, it's the career fair for, let's say, smaller companies that are either Aggie owned, well, they are Aggie owned, that have a track record of growing over the years. The Aggie 100 is the 100 fastest growing Aggie owned companies. And so we were fortunate to be listed on there a few times. And so with that regard, we have our own career fair. So it's the students that come to that are going to talk to maybe the owner of the business, but definitely somebody that's very involved with the business as opposed to just some hiring coordinator person. So when the students come to that career fair, they get to talk to people that are decision makers. They get a real understanding of what they're going to do. And they're probably going to have more of an impact as opposed to some of the other internships that are out there. So I think y'all would agree with that. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I was looking for too, is I heard at smaller companies you kind of get a more a bigger view of what happens. You get to do a lot more. Whereas if you're at a bigger company, then you just do one thing all summer and you kind of just do that. You don't really get to learn very much else about the business.
So let's start with the first question. What did you think you were going to do here? And what did you think property management was when y'all got hired for the internship?
I had no idea. I mean, I knew property management was just you know, taking on houses and then managing the tenants and the leases and taking payments and then giving it to the owner and maintenance obviously. I kind of just had like a general overview, but I had no idea what I was going to be doing here. When I talked to y'all at the beginning, you said that I'd kind of be doing everything. I get to learn like all the departments, but I didn't know what that meant at all. So it was a
You
little
were
bit
all the
different than what I
departments. What are you
thought.
talking about?
Yeah.
Brendan, what were your thoughts?
But I would say it was somewhat similar. I mean, I had a pretty good idea of well, I thought I had a good idea of what property managers were supposed to do. But I mean, I thought I'd be spending a good bit of time contacting owners, but mainly dealing with maintenance items. I didn't really realize that there was a whole lot more than just, basic maintenance items where a tenant, says they need something here or there, and then you kind of get that figured out for them. I kind of thought that was it, but that is just one portion of it. And it is a lot of it, but I mean, there's so much more involved than just that. So, I mean, coming in, I thought I'd, just be talking to some property owners, but we did a lot of, but I mean, we were all over the place.
And to be fair, being a small business, I had my idea of what y'all were going to do when you came in, and then that lasted for a few weeks, and then things changed. And so
Yeah.
you ended up doing something substantially different I guess the last half of the summer versus the first half.
Mhm.
And what it was, there was a couple of things. One is like we saw that y'all were capable and could take command of situations and projects. So you got given more opportunity as a result of that. But do you want to talk about what y'all started out as and what you ended up doing at the end of the summer?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So the first couple of weeks, I was primarily with the real estate consultants, trying to help out them with kind of the lead flow and getting stuff going with that, with the CRM and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm kind of lucky that I got to see that portion at the beginning because it's pretty much sales, but you don't realize it's sales in a way. I mean, it's a real estate consultant, so they're there to help. So I got to see that side, and then I ended up, going over more to the make ready side, but getting to see um, lead workflow. I didn't really know that existed. So now I can kind of see when I'm getting emails or calls or something like that, I kind of understand what the background is of that, kind of understand why they're doing that more. And then, yeah, so I think, and then I got to deal with that, onboarding, what new owners expect and what they may not know. Because I feel like what I learned a lot more out of that aspect was that a lot of owners really don't know what they want. They know and a lot of right now is because, it's the homeowners that are renting their properties that they previously lived in, so that they may not come in necessarily as an investor, but just as a homeowner. And I didn't realize that was part of it at all. I thought everybody is big investors with multiple properties, and that just is not the case at all.
Yeah.
So that aspect was really cool to see.
Yeah, most of them own one or two houses. But yeah, there's a lot of people that see that real estate is a great investment, so they want to hold on to that house when they upgrade and make that previous one a rental property, which is a great model. And if done properly, that can be leveraged in the future when that principal gets paid down to trade up to buy two more houses just off of that alone. So yeah, that's something that was probably good to see from your end. What do you think, Jace? What did you start with and what did you end with? And
So coming in, I thought I was going to be doing, since I'm a finance major, I thought I was going to be doing a lot of finance stuff. And the first day I came in, I talked to Jeff and he was like, "We're going to put you in maintenance." And I'm like, "Okay, I was not expecting that at all." But I ended up really liking it, and the project y'all gave me, which looking back on it, like y'all gave me so much responsibility right off the bat, which is something that I really appreciate. But rent check for for which allows tenants to do their own inspections. You just gave it to me and you're like, "We want you to implement this. We think it'll take you a month or two, but we trust you to figure it out, and we just want you to run with it." And I thought that was a lot of fun. Like you just gave me a lot of freedom. I could do my own thing, and I got to really figure out how to start something completely new. And so I really liked that. And then I was also kind of in maintenance as well. So you know, I helped with maintenance. I learned how Appfolio worked. I learned how to look at work orders and figure out the problems with them and close them out. And with property management, especially in maintenance, we're like an in between owners and tenants. And sometimes they both are mad at you for something that you didn't cause.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You just do the
Right.
best you can.
Yeah. So I definitely, through that process, I gained a lot of confidence in myself
Mhm.
and a lot of confidence in talking to owners and tenants and just problem solving. It's just all problem solving, getting little things figured out so that you can make everyone happy and save people money and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we transferred to the make ready department, and going into that, like I was kind of helping with that a little bit before we completely took it over, and it looked like a lot. When I was helping Eben, who was the make ready guy, when I was helping him, it was completely overwhelming. I didn't know what was going on. He had like 70 properties going through his pipeline. He's getting them all ready for new tenants, and it it was a lot, especially because he knew what was going on with all of them, and I didn't know at all. So I was trying to help out in every way I could, but it was a little difficult. And when we took that over, that again, y'all gave it to us. You're like, run with it. And looking back on it, like that could have gone totally wrong.
No, it didn't. We knew what we were getting because remember the first half of the summer we got to see what y'all were capable of. So some
Yeah.
people don't have the critical thinking skills. Some people don't have the cause and reaction understanding of how things work or what's realistic or what's not realistic or um, the ability you mentioned calling and talking to owners. Like a lot of people are afraid to talk to owners. A lot of people are afraid to talk to vendors. A lot of people are afraid to push back on a vendor. When a vendor says, "Oh, it's going to be $1,000," you're like, "No, that's not right. This is a $300 project," and you get to push back, say it's $300. We knew that y'all are capable of that. So that was one of the reasons y'all got that responsibility. And the other was like, running the software that we use for project management, Monday.com, y'all understood the value in that and the ability to like work a project from beginning to end and know the status of it, knowing who those projects are signed to as far as contractors go, and making sure that owners pay, the work that's being done. Um, so we knew what we were getting. We because we saw the thing is when it comes to and talking from the business owner side, every time I hire somebody, it's Russian roulette. Like, and sometimes I feel like if it's a revolver, it's got, I don't know, let's say 8 rounds in it. I feel like there's seven live rounds in there every time I go to
Uh,
hire somebody because it's so you just don't know what you're getting. Like there's not like a interview process that I found that really explains or lets me know who can really figure out a problem, who can really understand how to communicate, who's going to solve a process. And so what's great is with going through the A&M, you know, career fairs when we hire our interns for the summer, it's like a test drive for us to see if y'all are going to be good. And we get high caliber students, but it's also a great opportunity for y'all to learn what it's like out in the real world and what to be expected for. I mean, you can make it a great resume builder for you and learn how to do things. But in all honesty, both of y'all are full time jobs offered when y'all graduate. Absolutely, y'all are still working for me now, but that's not always the case. But I've had such good experience. I mean, you saw Kevin come in here and he does really good. He started in y'all's
yeah.
role 4 years ago, so he was my first A&M intern, and it's been a great experience. And then his
Oh,
brother-in-law
wow.
came in and did last summer, so it's been a good run. So you think it's a gamble for us, but it's a much lower risk than what we've had in the past. And you've probably seen how difficult it is to find good people. I mean, you've seen maintenance guys come and go. You've seen project managers come and go. Um, I'm sure. I mean, y'all saw them. I mean, you're all sitting in
Yeah.
those chairs now.
Yeah.
Um, So with that, let's move on to next. So we got property management, and talked about internship. What do you think the McCaw property management clients, being the landlords, the owners of the properties, what do you think they don't know about what we do?
I think they don't know how hard we work for them. Like, not only do we have, as property managers, we have the fiduciary responsibility. We are trying to do right by them at all times. But on top of that, some people they kind of nitpick. Like, we'll send out an estimate for make ready, all the work that needs to be done, and they'll kind of nitpick through each one, and they think we're trying to get them on pricing wherever we can, which in reality we get such good prices from our vendors, and on 90% of the jobs we give for these make readies, we're saving the owners hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars compared to what they would have gotten if they went and found contractors themselves or went and did the work themselves. It would have taken a lot longer. It would have costed more. And so I don't. It seems like sometimes we're not trusted, and I can understand that. You got to build trust,
Mhm.
but they don't understand that we are actively saving them money. And if we see a price that isn't good, we'll go find someone else, and we know what the prices are supposed to be. So whatever we see and we get back, we we won't accept it just because we got it back.
Yeah.
It needs to be a good price, and it needs to be lower than the market standard.
I know, and I'm glad you brought that up. There's two things. One, I was very shocked to hear out in my property management world how many property managers don't handle the turn. They say, "Oh, the tenant moved out. Mr. Owner, let us know when it's ready to move a tenant in." Like they pass it on to the owner. I was shocked at how many property managers do that. And I get it, it makes their job easier. But I mean, like, they're not the best to do it. I mean, they don't have time for it. They don't know who to call. Like, and then they're going to get taken advantage of. So I was surprised at how many property managers out there just don't handle turns. And they just say, "Hey, tenant moved out. Let me know when it's ready." And the other one, I've been even more shocked of the property managers that go out and get bids for, and this is something that y'all learned. Like, we're trying to work on some automation, some pricing models that could move faster. And
Mhm.
we called several property managers out there. I was shocked at how much they didn't focus on speed. And if you've been around me enough, you know I'm like, let's push this, let's get this done. Like, what, the tenant moved out yesterday? Like, we need to be in there today, doing a move out condition report and and then like get that price out quick. I was shocked, and you heard me on the phone call talking to a couple of them. Like, yeah, we
Yeah.
send it out to a contractor, and he comes back to us in about a week, and then we get that number, and then we give it to the owner. And I'm like, there's no control over speed, and there's no control over pricing, and that's what really shocked me. I'm like, maybe we work too hard at McCaw Property Management for our clients for what we charge, because we're really one of the lower priced property management companies out there, but we do more work and we put way more focus on quality and speed than our competitors. So that was one thing that really shocked me when we came up with with trying to improve the process and speed and pricing, and come to find out our competitors aren't, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Right. Well, and every day a property is vacant, it's losing hundreds of dollars
Yeah.
because if the rent is, $2,000 to $3,000, and they're not making that because the property is vacant, it's losing the money actively while it's vacant. So
Yeah.
we that's a big thing is speed. I mean, it all comes down to money, but speed and pricing
Mhm.
is something that we focus on, and you just wouldn't get it if you were doing it yourself. Especially if you have a property manager, because you don't want to have to do this stuff yourself.
Mhm.
So we make it a lot quicker and a lot cheaper. And I don't think very many people realize
Yeah,
that.
property management pays for itself. People just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. Brendan, what do you got? What do you want to add to that?
Well, I was gonna say, number one, I didn't even realize that this whole turnover make ready thing was part of property management. Like, outside of this, I didn't know that that was going on.
Mhm.
So I wasn't super surprised actually hearing that, a lot of them turn them back to the owners because it wasn't something that I ever heard of. But with being said, I think it's a huge value creator because Number one, it makes it quicker because we already know the property is going to become vacant.
Mhm.
So we're scheduling the inspection and trying to get estimates going half the time before the tenants even moved out. But then the other thing I was going to add is the whole speed thing. Like it's a huge value creator, and it's not something that's super easy to do. So I mean, I get why other property management companies may take the easy road out, and it takes a while because it's not a super easy thing to do. Like I mean, sometimes it's not easy to get a vendor out there the next day or even know what prices should be. So I think our ability to be able to do that, and now that Jace and I have been able to, come up with a pretty good process to get that done and done. Sometimes, I mean, we got work going on 2 days after tenants moved out. So
Yeah, the other day we gave an owner an estimate, and he's like, you're giving me this estimate before the tenants have even moved out, but we gave it to him the same day or the day after they moved out, and the owner just didn't realize it.
Well, the thing, yeah, and it's important to move quick. And that's why we put on, trying to work on a pricing model to where we can automate a lot of
yeah,
this so we can move even faster and make it work out better for everybody. And I think that's kind of interesting. That's where I love having, the students come in because you've got a lot of fresh energy and minds and you're in a learning environment already. So you're like, how do I make things better? Or how can I apply this? And so a lot of the people that we hire from that are later on in their career, they're just kind of like, well, this is what we did. This is what we did. And you've seen some of that when we had some people here that like, well, this is what we did at this company, or this is what we did. And like, that sucked. Like,
Yeah,
that's not a good thing.
yeah,
So it was nice to have you come in and like, let's see how we can make this work. Like y'all had Monday down pretty well. I mean, we were using Monday before you got in and took control over it, but y'all were utilizing it in a better way,
yeah.
I
Well,
think.
and tell me if you agree, Brennan, but I was surprised by how quickly I was able to learn everything. Like property management is very complicated. That's something I didn't know. I thought it was like a pretty simple process
Mhm.
before I came in, but there's so many little aspects to it that you got to worry about, you have to know about in advance, and there's so many issues that can just happen out of the blue. And I was surprised coming in with no prior experience, how quickly I was able to kind of learn all the processes and figure out what's going on and learn the owners individually and I don't know, I I wasn't as confident going into it, but looking back on it, I feel like over the summer we learned everything very quickly and we're able to take it on.
So here's
yeah,
a
I agree.
here's a curveball. So let's say McCaw Property Management is a small business. I'm the guy that owns a business, and I interviewed y'all, and you came on. You worked directly with me and my team. Trying to think where I was going to go with that, but I think the question is like, what value did you get out of it? Let's say you weren't coming to work at McCaw Property Management when you graduate. Like, what value did you get out of working for a business where you got to talk to the owner of the business on a regular basis?
That was huge. I mean, that was a huge difference because I mean, when we're going to you, we're coming from a full scale point of view when we get answers from you. It's not just a department or this is what my boss told me to do. It's how every process in this business works. So you know why some things happen and some things don't happen. So I mean, we get the whole picture behind it versus just one little bitty part. And then you also, have the decision power to allow us to do things like giving us the freedom to change the way our software works or our processes when that's not the reality for most cases. You just kind of get to do what you're told and that's what they're doing too. So I think being able to talk to the guy that built it and who knows why things happen the way they happen makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was writing stuff down like in preparation for this podcast, and that was one of my main points is some days you would just come in and you would sit down with us for like an hour or two and we would just talk about the most random stuff. But in that, we learn like kind of how you think and how this company grew to be as big as it is. And there's a lot of like even it's just mindset or subconscious stuff that is very important that goes into all that. So I thought that was huge. Like people when you're interning, you can't just say that you talked with the owner of the company every day for a
So
couple
there was
hours.
a lot of reason in why I did that. It wasn't just because I wanted to hang out, which I did, but it was I wanted y'all to understand my mindset, my thought process. I'm sure you got to see like or learn like why I make the decisions that I make. I know Brandon, we talked a lot about maybe some business podcasts are out there, and like we talked about what they were talking about, pros and cons, and how their logic was, and so and how we're rolling up another division in the company, and why we're hitting it the way we're hitting it, and the logic in it, and why the niche fits, and why it makes sense, and what the margins could be. So you got to understand the thought process and how all of this works, and like all three of us we talked about like, what software we're going to use, how we're going to market it, how all the things. And so I think by being an intern in a business of this size, an Aggie 100 type size business, you got to understand more about what the value that you'd be able to take into another company is like, I got to help make decisions, or I got to help understand why decisions were made and how they were made, as opposed to like when I graduated college and I went to go work at a really good company, I didn't make any decisions. I just processed the work. So what kind of employee am I? Like, are they I don't feel like they're investing in me. I'm just a cog. I didn't get to make a decision on like what the cog did or where it fit in the machine or like what's my next opportunity in the company. Like there was no like, oh yeah, you can move up, but there was no teaching me how to think about something. And that's one of the things I thought looking back, that was huge. And we're hearing about students going more and more towards small companies when they graduate, like A&M and probably similar universities, versus going to the General Electrics and the General Motors and the AT&T, all the big giant corporations, because you get put in because you're really smart and you can do things, but they're not fully utilizing the capabilities of the students that graduate from the university in the company because you're not getting the full value of their brain. And I think that's where when you go into some of these smaller corporations where you get to actually leverage the knowledge base, the thought processing that y'all have, which is the value in you. The value's not in this is what you've done all day, every day for the last 15 years. It's like, no, this is what we're trying to figure out how to do this better. And I think that's one of the great things about going to do an internship or an employment position in a smaller company where you make more of an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like with the make readies that we started doing, I mean, we weren't just sitting here and processing the make readies. We were actively getting to adapt and change and create like new processes to do the make readies.
Mhm.
So I mean that aspect was really good to learn.
Was it fun
And
being empowered a little bit with these vendors?
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
for sure. I was just telling Brendan today, like when we started, we had maybe like two good general contractors.
Mhm.
Now we have like seven or eight that we could give projects to at any time. It it has changed a lot. Things are so much easier now than they were when we started, just because we were able to kind of adapt and change the processes, and we had the freedom to kind of do so. And I did want to add, like I was very surprised, Kyle, by how honest you were with how the company ran. Like within after that one event that one day, you were telling me about like the profit and the losses, how much revenue we make, and what costs us a lot of money, what makes us a lot of money. And it's really property management has way tighter margins than I initially
Yeah, there's
thought.
not much. It's itty bitty. So that's
Yeah.
one of the things I wish more people understood is like it's not a it's I always tell it's a penny nickel dime business, and you've got to get a lot of those stacked up deep to make it even worth doing. And I don't know, maybe I should reevaluate that and charge more for things. And we were earlier talking about how we work so hard to get the pricing down for our clients, and that's to their benefit. And it's we're providing that value. We just don't make the margins that maybe our competitors do in that regard. But that's why I'm hiring a finance guy, Jace. Look at the margins. But no, I think it's very important that people understood, and I'm very transparent on that. Like, it's not a lot of money that we make on each project or each thing. But you need to know, because you don't make money on everything and you lose money on others. So if I make $2 on this deal, but I lose three over the next five, next one's like, well, that's no good. And it's also like when I mentioned, like when we have somebody that drives a vehicle somewhere to go do work, every time the key goes in the ignition, it becomes a toll, but it's an expense. It just kind of keeps rolling. So like we can't send somebody out to a house for $25, because even if that was just the labor alone, well, there's gas, there's insurance, there's taxes, there's all the things that go into it that a lot of people don't realize in a business, all the expenses that there are. So that's something that I think it's good for me to let everybody on my team understand, is because, I've had employees in the past that are like, I ask them, well, how much do you charge for that? And they're like, $150. I'm like, okay, well, how much do you think it cost me? Like, well, so and so, he was $150. I'm like, okay, how do I pay for you? How do I pay for the
Yeah.
electricity in your office? How do I pay for the payroll taxes? How do I pay workman's comp? How do I pay the vehicle? How do I pay gas? How do I like all of those things? And I remember her eyes just getting really big. She's like, well, I never thought about that. Like, yeah, there's a lot more than just one line item on an expense. Like, there's all of the variables that go into it and the time and energy and effort that goes behind it.
Yep, the overhead.
So what would you tell other students when they're going to look for an internship next summer?
I'd say find the guy that's actually running the company.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. But yeah, I agree. I think it's good. Everyone applies to like the big companies like Goldman Sachs, but you might learn more. You might be able to add more to your value if you work for a company that is willing to give you responsibility and let you fail or succeed, and just give you the trust to do all that.
Do y'all remember why I hired y'all?
Because we reached out.
Yeah.
There you go. So
We followed up.
that's one of the things I've learned over the years is the corporations that are looking just for a cog to go into the machine. Almost anybody can just do that. Like all they have to do is just show up, click the tab button, enter, type whatever, like just do the process, not think. Anybody can do that. So they'll take all those resumes. So when y'all went through the career fair and y'all all gave me your resumes and I had a whole stack of them, I just put them in the trash. I know people don't want to hear that, but like, I may not physically put them in the trash, but like they were in my mental trash container. And the people that had substantial conversations, or I could tell that they could interact and communicate, those are the ones that I invited out that afternoon to like, hey, let's go sit down. I'll order hors d'oeuvres and drinks, Dr. Pepper, Coke, whatever, and let's just talk. And then y'all showed up. There's a few other people that did too. Y'all were the ones that were good at communicating, and we could see that there's some cognitive critical thinking skills there. And then after that, we waited to see who responded back saying, hey, thanks for dinner, or hey, what's the next step, or what do I need to come do what do I need to do to come work for y'all? Those are the ones we responded to. And that's because it showed initiative, it showed critical thinking skills. Y'all didn't just sit back and wait. I think we live in a world right now where there's so many people that are entitled. They're like, oh, I got the degree, now I got my job. Like they just assume that. That's going to hurt them, I think, later on in life more than they think. But the people that are going out there and like really taking control of their life, those are the ones that are going to go far. And I know, like with both of y'all, like we've got a new project that's coming down the, fixed before closing, and you've seen what goes in behind it of how we're going to run with that. And I'd only be able to do that type of project with guys like you that understood how it all interrelates and where all the margins are, where they're not, and how the process works. So I think that for any interns, students that are out there looking for a job, that's things they need to take into consideration.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I hear people all the time saying, "Oh, I applied for 50 jobs," but really all they did was send their resume in to 50 LinkedIn posts or
Yeah.
I mean, they're not getting that email. They'll never see your name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I remember one job I applied for when I was trying to move states. And I'm like, man, I got to figure out how to stand out. And
Yeah.
so obviously I emailed them, called them, did all the things. I even FedExed the managers my resume in a nice folder with my resume in the folder. And at the time, CD-ROMs were a thing. So I put a CD-ROM in there with my resume too. So you'd have a digital version. And so that way he got like, I don't care. It didn't matter who it was. I knew for a fact that he got that FedEx package on his desk. And so he had to go to the next level to get rid of me. Like, he had to like, dude, I got a FedEx. I'm going to open it. I'm going to look. Oh, this Joker Kyle. He gave me the job. Like, I probably shouldn't have had the job, but he gave me the job. So the thing is like he had to go out of his way to say no to me. And everybody else was like, just like, there's a lot of people wanting that job, but I got it as a result.
That's cool. I was gonna ask if you got it, but
I did. I did. It was a good opportunity to get back down to Texas. It was a good opportunity for some education, but the role was kind of a dying field, so it was really tough to make it in that role. So then when there was a good opportunity to get back, and then I switched over to I ended up at TD Ameritrade and all that, and it worked out great there. So until it didn't, until the market crashed. But it was a really good experience. But it got me back. So, but yeah, you think people need to do things a little extra. I think that's what people miss is you do the extra step, and that's where the benefit comes from because it's kind of like digging for gold. You got to just keep digging and not give up when everybody else does.
yeah,
yeah,
and I didn't understand that really before this internship, but like it it's a big difference between, actually sending someone something in person or going and talking to someone than just sending in your application. Like it actually will make a difference in whether you get hired or not. So I didn't know that at all before I
And
worked
that came
here.
in value. One of the great feedbacks that we got about both y'all, Jace especially, because I think it was just more in your field, was y'all didn't have a hesitation picking up the phone and calling an owner. And
Hmm.
we're in a world right now where people just want to email stuff. Well,
Yeah.
they may not even check that email box. It may just end up in their spam folder. We don't know. And then, so you got to pick up the phone and call people. And so many people are afraid to call. And I think you understood that our real estate clients, they're not anything, they're not these like moguls out there. These are mom and pop people. They're just like you and I. They own a house and they need somebody to help take care of it. So y'all weren't afraid to pick up the phone and call and talk to them. That was a big deal.
Yeah, and it works out a lot better than you would think. Like if you're emailing people, then it takes out kind of the human experience of it, and people are a lot more willing to say stuff that they would never say in person or over the phone. So if you talk over the phone, it shows them that you're a real person and you're looking to help them.
Mhm.
And it also allows you to have more of it's still a professional formal conversation, but it's more informal than an email would be.
And when it comes to sales, it's a lot easier to say no to an email than it is to a
Yeah,
person on the phone.
just straight
for
up
sure.
ignore it. I mean, that happens
All right, so I'm going to ask you something, and
regularly.
this is where I may regret asking y'all. What are y'all's plans in the future?
Well, keep, fix before closing.
Yeah,
That's
there
the
we go.
future.
So, let's in all like, where do y'all see your future potential? Like Jace, I know you want to do finance. Like, is that a direction you still want to go in the company, or is that something like I'm just kind of generally asking, like, what do you see the future?
Well, so I love finance, and I really enjoy my class and my degree and everything like that. But growing up, my number one thing was I wanted to run a company or run a business or something like that. And
Mhm.
there's finance in that, but it's not majority finance, obviously. So, and working here and, looking forward in my future, I still have a year of school, so it's very hard to plan it out. But fix before closing it's a great idea, and I think you seem like you're willing to give me and Brennan like the opportunity to kind of run it or act as, it
Decision makers in it.
yeah, decision makers for sure. So I think that that is something that's very interesting to me, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. So that's the plan right now. It's very hard to plan, but I'm excited to see where things go with that. And it's really cool, just like it's starting off right now. We're looking at the website, and I get to talk to the website builder and kind of I don't feel qualified to tell him what needs to be done or what pictures need to be added or what paragraphs need to be changed, but I'm still doing it, and it it gives me a lot of pride and responsibility in all of that, and it's honestly pretty fun. So
And it's a good exercise too, because
yeah.
it's a real good exercise. Brendan, what are you thinking? What are you looking forward to in the future?
Well, I mean, I've talked about this, but like I want to, grow a business. I told you from the very beginning, I think when I met you at the career fair, I said, I want to own a business and run it and grow a business. So, I mean, I can promise you that there will be a day, and hopefully soon, that I will own a business and make it a big, really profitable business. And right now, I see the plan of fix before closing, but if for some reason that doesn't work out, there will be something, I
Oh,
promise.
well, and I think both of y'all have always said, and this is true for anybody that rolls through my office. I'm your number one biggest fan behind your mama. Whenever it comes, like, I want to see everybody live to their fullest potential. If I can add value, absolutely, I'm going to add value, support, and everything to make sure that you get I don't want anybody to ever say, "Man, I wished I'd done this," and not done it. And so I'm always the biggest fan for anybody that goes out. Like, you've seen a couple of people leave here and then they've gone out and started their own thing. I'm like, good. I'm rooting for them. You know,
Yeah.
that's and the thing is, I think people may or may not realize it's a lot harder than people think it is to survive. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many variables that go against a business surviving that are just not even thought of, or like there's just so many variables, and so sometimes it's good to do it as a team and not as an individual. So
And even like halfway through the summer or something like that, you were talking about wanting to expand to Houston, and you asked me, you're like, "Do you want to move down to Houston?" And I just that blew me away that you would think that of giving us the responsibility or giving me the responsibility of starting a division in Houston, which
well, so that was with so that was, going back, I'd visited with another gentleman that had a private management company, grew very fast, and then sold it, and then went on to do some other project, and I ran into him and I'm like, dude, how'd you grow so fast? And he's like, man, I found really smart students when they graduate, and I gave them a career path that they could go down to where they could be a market manager or something of a new market. And I'm like, man, that made me think. So, like, when Kevin came on and he graduated, I'm like, hey, wherever your wife goes to work, that's where our new office is. As long as it's state of Texas, then that's our new office. And it ended up that she ended up coming up to DFW. So he was folded into the McCaw Property Management DFW office and had a great opportunity here and it's done well. But if they ended up in Houston, we would open up an office in Houston. He would have been REC down there. So that would be kind of the next role. So, it'll happen when it happens. So when if somebody graduates that's gone through our internship and we know that they understand what we do here and what the role entails, we'll give serious consideration, open up a market wherever they land.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But it's not for anybody. Like, as you know, like going out there, getting the business, you've got to you got to go talk to people. You got to go out and not be afraid. And I think that's where a lot of people fail when they're trying to grow. Like, you got to be willing to get out in front of people and be like out there talking.
Yeah. And even once you do get clients, then you got to figure out how to make that profitable and manage your expenses well and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, guys, I appreciate you sharing with everybody what your experience was. Hopefully, we didn't share any secrets y'all didn't want anybody to know, but I think it was all good. But no, thank you guys. Y'all were amazing this last summer. Sometimes I just feel that I'm still in awe that we're able to hire such great talent from Texas A&M every summer through their internship programs. So I encourage all other business owners to don't overlook the major universities for internships and even employment, because we feel like we can't compete with these big corporations, but we really can, because I think the generation now, they're looking for places they can make an impact, which is what y'all have done. So I appreciate y'all coming in and doing all you're doing, and continue, because y'all are both still working for us. And we had some roles open up over the summer and put y'all into them, and we chose not to rehire for those positions and to leave those for y'all when y'all graduate. So that's the plan as of right now. And then, but no, I appreciate all y'all, and thank you for kind of enlightening other people of what all is involved in property management, because there's a lot to it. So
Yeah,
thank
man.
you both.
Thank
Y'all want to
you.
say anything before we close it up?
Well, I just want to say thank you for the summer and thank you for having us on the podcast. It was a good conversation.
And we loved hearing all your Airbnb landlord stories too.
Don't remind me of Debbie.
Yeah, and then Brennan, you drove every morning. How many hours did you drive on the road every day?
I did 2 hours a day, pretty much.
Man, I
Yeah, it was a
appreciate
lot.
that. And that was in a big boy truck.
It was worth it. It was.
Yeah, you were chugging gas that whole time.
Yeah, that
I
was
was.
like
Well, I got that truck to 200,000 now, so
you're just breaking
it
it
was
in.
worth it though.
Yeah, is it
It was
diesel or
worth it.
gas?
It's gas.
Okay, so that's getting
Yeah,
close
I'm
to gas.
getting up there, but we'll make it last.
How much a day were you spending on tolls again, Brennan?
It was like $10 a day.
All right, so you paid to come work here.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It probably wasn't quite $10, but it was up there.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. And
Well, I appreciate you, Kyle.
absolutely. Thank y'all. And look forward to the next episode of How Real Estate Changed My Life. I don't know who that's going to be yet, but it's going to be hard to follow up these two gentlemen. But thank you for listening.